Hello everyone and welcome to another Google Nexus 7 video. In this video I want to introduce you to Google's very own apps that it supplies with a device. Of course many of them will be familiar to you, but you may not realise how far some of these apps have come since their first inception. These are now flag bearers for the Android operating system and well worth considering before you hit the market for alternative apps. Admittedly, this is somewhat of a subjective whistle-stop tour and some of the apps may barely feature at all due to my lack of need or interest in them, but I'm sure you'll find something useful in this video. And we will start with the newest addition to the Android operating system, the Chrome browser. This now replaces the original Android browser and brings with it many things that will be familiar to you if you've used the desktop version. It's very fast and simplistic in its design, so you can get on with the job of browsing websites. There are nice features such as double tapping the screen to zoom into text articles, and it handles monster desktop websites quite admirably. Take Engadget for example. This website is huge, but Chrome quickly loads up enough of a page to get you browsing. As you can see, as I scroll down the page, the browser does cheat a little bit by building the page as and when you reach those parts of the page, but it's hardly noticeable. Watch here as I fling the browser down a page. It scrolls correctly and just catches up when I've finished messing about. This is much better than simply stopping dead and freezing for a couple of seconds in order to build the page. The one drawback of Chrome is that it doesn't support Flash, so you might encounter these grey boxes every once in a while. To use Flash on the Nexus 7 is a bit tricky, so please visit my other videos for more information about this. On to the next app now, which is Google Maps, and I was surprised to find how sluggish it seemed to run on the tablet. However, after about a minute of playing with it, I realised I had these Wikipedia points of interest links everywhere. You can instantly see how much of an improvement there was when I turned this setting off. Google Maps is as much fun as it always has been. You can easily lose yourself in idle map viewing for hours. Although this is probably one app that does suffer a little bit from the 7-inch form factor of the Nexus. Larger tablets such as the iPad and the Asus Transformer do give you more screen real estate to play with. Up until very recently, the Google Plus application has been pretty naff, but it has upped its game recently, and as you can see, this application loves its thumbnails. The problem is, Google Plus hasn't really achieved any penetration into my circle of family, friends and connections, so I don't have too many contacts on Google Plus. Therefore, the content I have is quite limited. I'm sure Google Plus is an adequate application, but it feels like a blank canvas to me. There is obviously a lot you can do with the application, just not a lot of people I know who use it. Google's email service, Gmail, is supported by a very strong Android app these days. It navigates itself logically from folders to messages to content with nice, snappy transitions. I'm not going to confess to being a heavy email user, so I can't tell you for certain how well this app copes with the more complicated rigours of emailing. But for just checking emails and composing and replying quick messages, Gmail is fantastic. With the enormous Google ecosystem with Google+, YouTube and indeed Android, the chances are you have a Gmail account, and this app with its great notification and widgets, I hasten to add, is pretty much essential. YouTube is another app that has evolved very nicely indeed too. It has the same snappy feel as Gmail, sliding left and right as you navigate screens. Each video is displayed with a large thumbnail, which really adds a bit of style to the layout, and the videos load quickly and efficiently, as you can see now.
What's up YouTube, how you doing? This is Mr. Tybox123, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you my unboxing and first look at this, the Sonoro.
As I showed you there, the app quickly switches to landscape full screen mode without skipping a beat. The best navigation of YouTube is the button itself in the top left hand corner of the screen, which always acts as a kind of home screen to your account, channel, subscriptions and so on. One minor complaint is that it seems to crop lines incorrectly on your playlist, but it's a minor issue when you have this much accessibility to the greatest video library in the world. Even engaging in the social media experience of YouTube is relatively easy these days. With 2 swipes and a press in portrait mode, you can start making comments. Now we move on to what you might call Google Maps' big brother, Google Earth. It's very similar to Google Maps, except that it has 3-dimensional terrain, so it does push the limits of the Nexus 7 a little bit. But this is where the powerhouse can boast about its Tegra 3 credentials, and it powers through quick transitions like this example where I am jumping from the middle of the United Kingdom to Mount Everest without too much fuss. Maybe a little slowdown, but perfectly acceptable. It's at this point where you start to realise just how good the core facets of this tablet are. Resolution, screen quality, processing power, graphical strength. It seems to deliver on every front at a breakthrough price. Of course, there will be a lot more of this in my full review when I've had the device for a couple of months. In the meantime, Google Earth is now showing off its adjustable camera angles and Wikipedia points of interest buttons. And now it's about to fly halfway across the world to New York. Next is an application that I have found incredibly frustrating in the past because it has flattered to deceive. But in a 7-inch tablet form, Google Currents has found a home and is now arguably one of the best news applications available. Either through news sources available through the app library or from your Google Reader account, Currents displays article headlines in a newspaper format and the articles themselves on pages. There is no screen scrolling, this is page swiping, a style of navigation that's finicky on smartphones, terrible on large tablets, but absolutely perfect on this portrait form of a tablet. It's like reading a very lightweight book. It has instantly become my news reading app of choice since I started using the Nexus 7. And the only complaint I have is that it has no home screen widget. Now the gallery is a gallery and it does its job simply and efficiently. I'm not going to confess to having an expansive collection of pictures, and of course the Nexus 7 will be greatly hampered by the lack of external memory card slots. The one feature I did find while I was having a quick play was a nice transition from zoomed in pictures to the next picture. I thought it dealt with that quite well. Finally we have the calendar, which to be quite frank I know absolutely nothing about. I had a quick play of it and yeah, it seemed fine to me. I'm sure you can add all the dates you want about holidays, birthdays and so on. I guess that this is the one app that will benefit the most from being a Google app, so that you can sync it across all of your devices. So as I carry on playing with the calendar for a while longer, I'll conclude by saying that Google has a very strong selection of stock applications these days. I didn't show you the Contacts app because I'd rather not display all my friends' phone numbers. Again, it's an app that benefits from the ability to sync with all your accounts. I didn't try the Talk application either because it would have been too awkward to set up for this quick review. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll be reviewing a lot more applications as I continue my adventure through the world of the Nexus 7 in the future.